Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Batman vs. Predator. Now, Batman vs. Predator is a graphic novel which was first published as a 3-issue comic book series, which was published between the years 1991 and 1992. Now, the comic book series was written by Dave Gibbons and illustrated by Andy Kubert, I think I'm saying his last name right, and of course it was published by DC and Dark Horse Comics. Now, the comic book series is also a spin-off of the film Predator and its sequel, Predator 2. In this story, Batman battles the same type of alien creature that was in both of those movies. Now, Dave Gibbons, who wrote this comic book series, previously did the artwork for the Alan Moore graphic novel, Watchmen. Now, I actually don't have this book in its graphic novel form. I actually have it in its original single magazine form, and I have all 3 issues of the comic book series right here, and this is actually pretty hard to come by. Like, I'm pretty sure this is out of print, and you might be able to order a copy of this comic book series or the graphic novel online, like possibly Amazon. Call me old-fashioned, but I still go to comic book stores or bookstores, but I live on Long Island, and I've had to travel all over the freaking island to different comic book stores to try to find this, and ultimately I was at this one comic book store and I just asked if they could order it for me, and it took a while, but eventually it came in, and I am forever grateful to the guys who ordered this for me. I'm actually going to give them a shout out right now. It's this comic book store called Next Generation Comics in Islip, and if you live on Long Island, I highly recommend going there. And I'm trying not to kiss their asses or anything, I'm just grateful that they helped me get my hands on this comic book series. Now, the plot of Batman vs. Predator is a predator actually comes to Gotham City, and in the beginning of the story, this predator actually kills a boxer who worked for a crime lord, and in the beginning of the story, the police and Batman think that this boxer was just murdered by a hitman who was hired by this crime lord's rival, but in the beginning of the story, Commissioner Gordon and Batman fear that an all-out gang war could possibly break out because of this murder. But as the story goes on, more people start getting murdered, and Batman notices that all the people who are getting murdered are particularly violent people, and he eventually finds out that these murders are not being committed by a human being, and the thing that's committing these murders might not even be from this world. But in the comic, the media catches wind of the fact that these murders are being committed by some kind of an alien being, and this pretty much sends the entire city of Gotham into a state of panic, and now it's up to Batman to try to take on this predator. But Batman vs. Predator by Dave Gibbons is a freaking awesome comic book series, and if you can get your hands on this, I highly recommend it. Once again, it's out of print, but if you can get your hands on either the graphic novel or in its original single magazine form, I highly recommend getting your hands on this series because it's freaking amazing, and I recommend it if you're a Batman fan, but I especially recommend it if you're a fan of the Predator movies, and it's a really cool crossover seeing Batman take on a predator. And in this story, the Predator actually really fucks Batman up, like, pretty badly, actually, to a point where Batman is actually in a body cast for a number of weeks while this Predator is going around Gotham City taking human lives. And in the story, Batman ends up wearing this special suit that he made specifically for taking on the Predator, and it's very similar to the suit he was wearing at the end of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. And one thing that I actually thought was really freaking funny is towards the end of this story, there's a scene where Batman has an actual baseball bat and he starts beating the Predator with this, and before he starts beating the Predator with this, he says, "It's me, Batman." Batman. And I thought that was freaking hilarious because a few years ago, me and my friend Mark did a comedy skit where Mark thinks he's Batman, only he's literally using a baseball bat, and it was just funny because me and my friend Mark did that skit, and then I see that in this comic. Obviously, this comic was written over 20 years before me and Mark ever did that skit. But yeah, once again, Batman vs. Predator is a really entertaining comic book series, and if you can get your hands on this, I definitely recommend giving it a read. And the plot of this story actually is very similar to the plot of Predator 2. Like, just replace Danny Glover's character in that movie with Batman, and essentially that's the story for this comic book. Now, there were actually 3 sequels made to this comic book series, all written by different writers. There was a sequel to this called Batman vs. Predator 2, Blood Match, which was written by Doug Moach, and then there was Batman vs. Predator 3, Blood Ties, which was written by Chuck Dixon, and then there was Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator, which was written by Mark Schultz. And that one I actually just recently did a review on when I was doing the Superman reviews. But yeah, that's my review on Batman vs. Predator by Dave Gibbons, and bye.